I'll be honest, years ago, I was a living meme. I was the person with "I like everything except rap and country" in my bio. Looking back on it, it's hilarious, because now hip-hop is my go-to genre of music. Back then I only knew the chart toppers or some of the worst M.A.A.d tracks the school kids would recite ad nauseum, so I assumed that was all rap had to offer, bars about gangbanging, making money and doing drugs. And sure, rap has an abundance of that, but it also has emotional and even heartwarming tracks about family, friends, and so much more. Many years ago I was like my father actually, I couldn't get past the crime and the swearing, and now I've embraced it as a part of the culture and everyday life. Allowing yourself to be turned off by such a superficial aspect of rap is to deny yourself of some of the most conscious, well thought out music being made today. And for me, the true realization of all of this started with Kendrick Lamar. Let me start by saying I don't believe there is a better rapper in this day and age than Kendrick Lamar. So now you know my bias, let's discuss what makes him the best at displaying all rap has to offer. It all starts with the voice. Kendrick stands out among his contemporaries with his distinctive style, flow, and variety of cadences. Unlike so many artists, he can't just stick to a single voice, and this gives him the upper hand when it comes to crafting music with atmosphere. From track to track, you don't know if he'll be rapping as himself, a young arrogant version maybe, the devil seducing him, or even his mother giving advice in one way or another. He becomes each character to a degree that I've not seen in any other artist, and this ability is the basis on which his second and third albums are built. Good Kid, m.A.A.d has Kendrick playing himself throughout his younger years, and he isn't content to just have the lyrics come from that point of view, but his voice too.
Every lunch, man, goddamn, all hell broke loose. You killed my cousin back in '94. Fuck your truce. Now crawl your head in that noose. You wind up dead on the news. Ain't no peace treaty, just peace and BG's up to Bria.
Here he sounds like a paranoid youngster trying his best to intimidate like a gangster, but his voice just gives it all away. Other changes are more subtle, like the slightly higher pitch he uses on Backseat Freestyle, a track which people questioned in its initial single release, yet when played in the context of the album, it's clear that the arrogance and braggadocious rapping is meant to convey the situation of Kenny in the backseat of a car attempting to impress his friends. It's almost comical with lines like,
"Pray my dick get big as the Eiffel Tower, so I can fuck the world for 72 hours, goddamn I feel."
The fact that Kendrick can become whatever character he presents and embody his younger self exceptionally adds to the storytelling and is what elevates an album like Good Kid, m.A.A.d to classic status. Furthermore, some of the more emotional parts on To Pimp a Butterfly wouldn't have the same gravitas without the soul that Lamar is able to convey. You is a highlight in the track list, which showcases Kendrick at his absolute lowest. He's drunk, filled with self-hatred, shouts at himself as though he's talking to someone else entirely. His cadence is everywhere, it's angry, it's frustrated, it's confused. This track is an explosion of aggression and depression, something you'll struggle to find in such a raw form in any other genre. Another highlight of voice work on this project comes from the For Sale interlude, in which K-Dot is rapping as Lucy, literally the devil, and his inner demons. Throughout the track, Lucifer is seducing Kendrick, promising him money, fame, and anything else he could desire. She knows that no matter what, he'll fall prey to these desires, that he'll pursue her because all these things are too good to miss out on, no matter how sinful they might be. I'm not a religious person by any means, but that's one of the beautiful things about this genre. You're being transported into Kendrick's mindset. You can't not see where he's coming from because you're inside his head, looking at the world from a whole new perspective. As long as you feel a modicum of sympathy, I'm sure you'll feel something for the artist here. In the final bar, we hear Kenny's voice change from the seductive Lucy back to his normal one in order to ask him to sign a contract.
Lucy up front, Lucy got paperwork on top of paperwork. I want you to know that Lucy got you all your life. I watched you, and now you all grown up to sign this contract if that's possible. Get you.
Clearly a metaphor for selling his soul, but damn, the sudden change in the voice really drives the point home, bringing the interlude to a satisfying climax before leading smoothly into the next track. And that brings me to the sounds Kendrick utilizes throughout all of his projects. The huge variety of talent on display from both musicians, mixers, and DJs is remarkable. While Good Kid, m.A.A.d stuck to the West Coast beats of other contemporary rappers at the time, a sound he would later return to on Damn, albeit in a very different fashion, when the instrumentals are this polished, catchy, and meld so well with Kendrick's voice, it's really hard to complain. And the album knows when to be more subdued as well. With The Art of Peer Pressure, after the switch up, the beat takes a backseat to K-Dot's well-articulated rapping so that you can be fully enveloped in the story that he's describing in remarkable detail.
I hit the back window in search of any Nintendo DVDs, plasma screen TVs in the trunk. We made a right, they made a left, they made a right, they made a left. We was just circling life. My mama called.
Hello? What you doing?
Kicking it. I should have told her I'm probably about to catch my first offense with the homies.
The flow change here isn't that uncommon for Lamar at all. One of the most exciting things about listening to a new single or album from the artist is that you're rarely going to be listening to the same rhythm for the entire track. For example, in The Heart Part 4, the instrumental and flow changes a total of 3 times.
I won't tell the truth about you. My fans can't wait for me to sun your punk ass and crush your whole little shit. I was just playing, K-Dot. Come on, you know a nigga rock with you, bro. Shut the fuck up, you sound like the last nigga I know. Might end up like the last nigga I know. Oh, you don't wanna clash, nigga, I know. I put my foot on the gas, head on the floor, hopping out before the vehicle crash. I'm on the road.
It also makes for some very satisfying drops, with the bass becoming heavier and tracks getting more intense, like on Wesley's Theory.
Hit me! When the 4 corners of this cocoon collide.
And the banger of a track, DNA.
I live about my fucking life. This is my heritage, all I'm inheriting. Money and power, the mecca emeritus. Tell me something, you motherfuckers can't tell me nothing.
The recent chart topper Humble was a surprise from Kendrick. It's one of the most mainstream songs he's ever put out. With a simplistic, bassy rhythm produced by m.A.A.d, it's catchy for sure, although it feels like a step back when compared to the likes of the jazz-infused To Pimp a Butterfly. Fortunately, the wordplay, lyricism, and overall quality of production is still there and puts it far above anything else that you'd find in the charts. On Good Kid, M.A.A.d City, the most significant use of sound comes from the clips played at the end of almost every track. Here we get a better sense of the story being told through multiple calls of his mother asking where he is, out with friends who are peer pressuring him into crimes of course, to the talks between his friends which make for some fantastic segues into the upcoming tracks.
K-Dot, get in the car, nigga. Come on, we finna roll out. Nigga, I got a pack of blacks and a beat CD. Get your freestyles ready. Word. Nigga, shut up. Doc, you good, my nigga? Don't even trip. Just lay back and drink that.
These clips are intentionally poor quality though. It sounds as though something you'd hear on a documentary, trying to find audio samples to orchestrate a point. And they place you in Kendrick's position by not having him talk once in this context, as though he's just being talked at, helping convey the confusion he was probably feeling at this point in his life, as well as the sense of powerlessness over his actions, constantly being guided by others, with rap probably being his only release in life. There's callbacks to previous tracks and snippets.
Gang, where my motherfucking dominoes at? It's the second time I asked you to bring my fucking dominoes. Gang, I ain't tripping up from dominoes no more. Just calling. Sorry to hear what happened to your homeboy.
All of these elements come together to make Good Kid, M.A.A.d City a fascinating look into the life of a young black man from Compton, one that doesn't hold back or glamorize anything. Now let's talk about that third album of Kendrick's. What an incredible departure from the comfort of the typical rap beats of his past projects. There's saxophones, violins, trumpets, and Thundercat on the bass. It creates an even greater feeling of celebrating black culture by meshing all of the other big black genres of soul, funk, and especially jazz into almost every track on the album. Here we see great use of features too, from the aforementioned Thundercat's bassy hooks to George Clinton to the sounds of Bilal and Snoop Dogg. Despite only the first of these using an instrument, all of the guest vocals on To Pimp a Butterfly feel as though they're so tightly woven into the song that they're just as much of an instrumental as any guitar or sax. There's no feeling of, okay, let's take a detour and listen to this guest, even when it's another rapper like Rapsody on Complexion.
Talk my Stu Scott. Excuse me on my Tupac. Keep your head up, when did you stop? Love and die. Color.
There's no real fanfare for these features, but that only ensures that they blend together immaculately, because they're all a part of the core of the track itself. Furthermore, samples are used to great effect, with the opening of the album using Boris Gardner's Every Nigga Is a Star. to display the black power and moderately positive feel carried throughout the album, then King Kunta utilizes the backing track of Get Naked from 2000, really driving home the old school feel of that track. In that very same song there are callbacks to Jay-Z, Michael Jackson and James Brown. If that doesn't show respect and admiration for black culture, then I don't know what does. There are many more creative samples on these projects, so I'd highly recommend you check out the Genius videos on these to see the full scope of the samples used. The last one I'm actually interested in though is on the final track of this project, Mortal Man. If you've heard the album you know exactly what I'm talking about. Kendrick actually uses an old Swedish interview of Tupac, reframing his answers as though he's speaking to Kenny himself.
You spoke on the ground. What you mean by that? What the ground represent?
The ground is going to open up and swallow the evil.
Right.
That's how I see it. My word is born. I see, and the ground is the symbol for the poor people.
Right.
The poor people is going to open up this whole world and swallow up the rich people. Because the rich people are going to be so fat and they're going to be so appetizing.
If done incorrectly, this could have come across as stupid, cringy, and downright disrespectful to one of the best rappers of all time. But instead it serves as a reminder of Kendrick's biggest inspiration. It feels as though it's an interview from beyond the grave. A shocking but honest send-off to him as well as the album. Lastly, but definitely not least, we look at the lyrics of King Kendrick Lamar. Not a track goes by that doesn't at least have something creative lyrically. You can always find something to admire, either in its savagery, honesty, or poetry. He has an ability to twist and shape words like almost no other. One of the most creative instances as of late was on Damn. The song Fear begins with bars being played in reverse. And after this, we hear Kendrick as his mother saying she'll beat his ass for talking back.
I beat your ass, keep talking back. I beat your ass, who bought you that? You stole it. I beat your ass if you say that game is broken. I beat your ass if you jump on my couch.
This is just shit that no other artists these days think of to my knowledge. Not only playing with words, but how they can be manipulated in the mixing room. The problem with talking about Kendrick Lamar and his lyricism is that there's just far too much to cover. I could make a whole other video essay about it, and maybe I will. You could spend hours upon hours on Genius, looking through his bars and what each of them mean. In fact, that's what I did in preparation for this piece, and seeing the amount of dual meanings in almost every line of his music is remarkable. References on references that many won't get. But that's part of the beauty. It feels personal. You don't have to get every bit. But the fact that there's more to it than you see on the surface is one of the most amazing things about Kendrick Lamar and hip-hop. I can still listen to any of his albums right now and pick up on a new bar that I didn't before. I often get asked, can you tell what they're saying? When someone hears me listening to rap. With articulate performers like Kendrick, then I can confidently say that for the most part I get every bar. But it's not always the case, and they might see that as an annoyance, but to me, it's replay value. I'm sure all of us who listen to rap have had those moments of going back to an album, then being shocked when you either hear a bar that you didn't pick up before, or just get the meaning behind one. It's so satisfying and goes a long way to making you appreciate the artist even further. Kendrick embodies this, and so much more. And that's why I chose him to represent the true beauty of rap.
Now everybody serenade the new faith of Kendrick Lamar. This is King.
And that was my first video on music, I guess. The slogan for this channel is critiquing games, movies, and more, and I guess this is more. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's my first time doing this medium, so I hope I did it justice. It's a really tough one for me to tackle, especially for the first time. Give me feedback on that, how you think I did, what I can do to improve, all that good stuff. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.